Assalamualaikum, my name is Nurul Atika binti Omar Baki, and I will explain about the background of the company, which is Xorix Berhad. Xorix Berhad is the newest addition to the list of companies in Malaysia that make pharmaceuticals ready to dispense, which is RTD, Galenica product are the company's specialty. The whole construction project was planned and executed with one goal in mind. As a result, it allows for efficient and adaptable production. Xorix Berhad provides comprehensive quality management system choices. It is also provide assistance to the business in optimizing operation, raising customer satisfaction, and meeting regulatory requirements. The primary focus of the business is to provide customers with reliable Galenica RTD goods. Other than that, the company also have purpose, which is to provide Galenica products that adhere to the highest standard of safety and efficacy to the patients. For the vision is to become the number one of Galenica pharmaceutical company. And lastly, for the missions is to address the supply deficiency of Galenica medicine in hospital using our dedicated Galenica pharmaceuticals in ready-to-dispense manufacturing facility.
Assalamualaikum, I am Nur Atira. Now, I will talk about my part, which is the flowchart that has been implemented by the company. Root cause analysis is a method that Xorix Berhad uses to look at deviations and stop a string of near misses. Fishbone graphs are a part of this method. Root cause analysis methods like brainstorming and the 6Ms allow a business to dig deeper into a problem before coming up with a workable answer. It's important to think about what everyone has to say. The management of Xorix Berhad will talk about how to settle the argument between the supplier and the buyer based on SOPs and alternatively probable explanations for what happened that are written on the tiny bones of the fishbone. This company's production center doesn't focus on any one thing that could affect quality. Instead, it looks at all major categories such as man, method, machine, and material. This method is helpful because it helps people logically talk about things and lets them focus on a single subtopic. Next, I want to discuss how Xorix Berhad analyzes fishbone tools. After getting all this information, Xorix Berhad used a fishbone diagram to determine what was wrong with the business. The company's root causes are the flaws in its processes and systems that made it possible for the adding factors to add up to something bad for the company. This example shows that there could be more than one root causes. Once the root causes and contributing factors have been identified, Xorix Berhad will need to deal with each one as needed. For this, Xorix Berhad needs to look at every possible reasons and eliminate the one that don't make sense to look into further based on the data and information they have.
Hi, my name is Nur Izzatifatia. Now I will explain about the reason of using the flowchart, which is fishbone diagram. The main reason why they use this fishbone diagram is so that the team or individual can get a more methodical understanding of the issue. Using this fishbone diagram, the Xorix company can identify a number of potential issues. Next, using this fishbone diagram, Xorix company will help establish preventative measures. This diagram also helps Xorix identify problems with the man, technique, machine, and material. By thoroughly going through these categories, Xorix company may find the root causes. Besides, this diagram may also be used to avoid the problem from repeating in the future. For example, there are several issues in that fishbone diagram which is in the Xorix company that can be avoided in the future. Lastly, using that diagram, it might help with the development of a learning, innovation, and continuous improvement culture within the organization or the team in the company.
Assalamualaikum, I'm Lena, so I will continue for the next slide. This slide is advantage and disadvantage of using flowchart in company. Among the advantage of implementing a flowchart, first is training and onboard for Xorix and Neighborhood they can use flowchart. It is because it useful resource for educating new hires and integrating them into business procedure. They provide a step-by-step manual that may be utilized to introduce brand new employees to the duties. For example, Xorix and Neighborhood needs to provide sufficient training when a new employee applies for a position so that the new employees may catch up on the work effectively. The visual representation is the second benefit. This refers to a visual representation of a process individual step in sequence. Employees of Xorix and Neighborhood, for instance, must split duties using flowchart according to their individual job, which help workers of all levels comprehend them. Visual cues make it easier to understand how activities should be complete and in what order, what can increase understanding of role and decrease mistake. However, flowchart can have disadvantages such as evolving process. Update time and effort will also be impaired. This is due to the fact that the flowchart has to be updated as the process evolves and changes. The flowchart has to be carefully reviewed and modified to properly reflect the new procedure, which takes time and effort. Failure to maintain flowchart might lead to obsolete and incorrect information. Last but not least, reproduction is one of the drawbacks of utilizing flowchart in business. It can be wasteful to use flowchart. Cost and resource consideration might reside in expenses for printing, materials and distribution, particularly when using tangible media like hard copy. Since flowchart cannot be typed, you must go in create them using Word, Excel or another program. This takes a lot of time since you need to often use a computer or laptop to build this. So this is advantage and disadvantage of using flowchart in the company. So I will pass to the next presenter. Thank you.
My name is Noreta. I'm going to explain about challenging of implementing the flowchart in quality tools. The first challenge that Xorix company is complexity of process. When using a fishbone diagram, it can be hard to keep track of all the possible reasons or factors that contribute to the problem or effect at hand. Pharmaceutical manufacturing companies like Xorix go through a lot of complicated steps from research and development to making and selling pharmaceutical goods. If list all of the possible reasons without prioritizing or filtering end up with a confusing and overwhelming diagram that does not help figure out which one are the most important. Second challenge is regulatory compliance. Regulatory compliance is an important part of Xorix and Neighborhood, and they have to follow the rule and standards set by regulatory body very closely. Due to how important medicines are and how they could affect public health, the pharmaceutical business put a lot of emphasis on following regulation. They do inspection and audit to make sure that rules are being followed. When internet factors and legal requirements are taken into account, putting the fishbone diagram to use can be complicated and take a lot of time. Next, continuous process improvement. Xorix company is always coming up with new technologies, study findings and ways to make things, which move the company forward. The pharmaceutical supply chain is another area that could use constant improvement. The goal is to reduce lead time, make it easier to manage inventory and make sure that products are delivered on time. Some way, the technological breakthrough are changing the pharmaceutical industry of personalized medicine, gene therapy and digital health solution. It can be hard to keep up a culture of continuous growth and make sure that the fishbone diagram is updated often enough to reflect these changes. Limited time and resources is one of the challenges of implementing flowchart, which is fishbone diagram in Xorix company. The pharmaceutical factory, like Xorix and Neighborhood, works in an environment with strict rules and limited time, which limits the amount of resources that can be used. When trying to get new drugs on the market as quickly as possible, pharmaceutical businesses often face tight deadlines, limited resources, and constant pressure. When there are many competing priorities, it can be hard to find enough time and money to fully discuss and apply the fishbone diagram approach.
Assalamualaikum, my name is Muhammad Mustarif Safi. I will present a recommendation of implementing the fishbone diagram. To identify the underlying causes of a specific issue, it can be helpful for Xorix and Neighborhood to visualize the possible causes. It can help them in locating, evaluating, and fixing problems with quality. Analyzing potential problems might occasionally be beneficial for avoiding future issues. So, the recommendation for implementing a fishbone diagram is to start with a clear problem statement. Xorix and Berhad must identify the specific problem that they must solve. In their case, the problem faced by them is about product issues. For Xorix and Berhad, the more specific their problem statement, the better for them. It is because it will make much easier for them to identify the root causes of the problem. Next, the recommendation for implementing a fishbone diagram is to identify the major categories of causes. Xorix and Berhad has listed their categories, which are man, method, machine, and material. Under these categories, they must list out and brainstorm the relevant root causes that relate to their problem. By doing this, we will help Xorix and Berhad to prioritize relevant causes, so underlying root causes are addressed first. Lastly, the recommendation is to take action to address the root cause. Once Xorix and Berhad have identified the root causes of the problem, they must take action to solve it. The action may involve making change to the process, training employees, and providing new resources. In conclusion, implementing a right quality tools is very crucial as it can improve the company's quality performance, reducing costs, improve end user satisfaction, improve efficiency, improve productivity, and helps reduce waste. The quality tools can be considered as the most important aspects in any company, including manufacturing companies. However, issues and problems do exist in any company that runs a business. The same goes to Xorix and Berhad, who implement a fishbone diagram to find the root cause of the problem. Besides, the important reason they use this tool is because it can help the employees know the problem in depth. There are also pros and cons alongside challenge in implement this tool. Despite that, they can overcome their problem by using the powerful tool which is fishbone diagram. Thank you.